We're going to talk about inequalities. We have the less than symbol, less than or equal to symbol, greater than, and greater than or equal to. For the less than and the greater than, if there's no bar underneath, when we write the interval, we're going to use a parentheses, and for greater than, a parentheses. But if it's less than or equal to and greater than or equal to, we're going to use a bracket. There are two important things to remember when you're working with inequalities. If you multiply or divide by a negative, we're going to have to switch the inequality sign, just turn it around. And you always want the variable on the left side. That makes it a little bit easier to graph on the number line, because if your variable's on the left, then your arrow will be pointing the same way as the way you're going to shade on the number line. Let's try a couple inequalities. We're going to solve 2x plus 3 is less than or equal to 9. We solve an inequality exactly like we solve an equation. So you can just pretend it's an equation and do the same thing we always do to get x all by itself. We're going to have to subtract 3, which will leave 2x is less than or equal to 6. Then to get x by itself, we're going to divide by 2. Therefore, x is less than or equal to 3. You're going to be asked to put this on a number line. Since it's a less than or equal to, we're going to put a bracket over the 3. And we're going to shade the same way the arrow is pointing, which is to the left. Our variable's on the left side, the arrow is pointing to the left, and we have a bracket over 3. You're also going to be asked to write it as an interval. With the interval, we're going to use that bracket I was talking about. It stops at 3, so we're just going to write this exactly the way it is. Our arrow is pointing to the left, which means it's going to go to negative infinity. It's never going to stop, so we put a parentheses on the left side. You always put a parentheses with the infinity sign, and of course, because we include 3 in this problem, we have to put the bracket. Let's try another one. We're going to solve 3a minus 2 is greater than 4. Again, we solve it exactly like we would solve an equation. We need to add 2 to both sides. We're left with 3a is greater than 6. We're going to have to divide by 3 to get a by itself. Therefore, a is greater than 2. We're going to draw it on the number line. This time we don't have a bar underneath the inequality sign, so we're going to put a parentheses at 2. Our variable's on the left side. We're pointing to the right, which is greater than. So all the numbers greater than 2 will solve this inequality. We write the integral. It would be 2. It's going to infinity, and again with infinity, we put a parentheses, our parentheses over 2, parentheses 2, they always are the same. Let's try one more. We're going to solve negative 4y plus 3 is less than or equal to 7. Our variable's on the left side. We're going to subtract 3. We're left with negative 4y is less than or equal to 4. We have to divide both sides by a negative 4. And we had a rule in the beginning that says if we divide something by a negative number, it's changing our positive number to a negative number when we divide. We have to change the inequality sign from less than to greater than. We just turn it around, and we get negative 1. Let's put that on the number line. We have a bar underneath the greater than sign. We're going to put a bracket. The arrow is pointing to the right. We're going to shade to the right. We're going to write the interval as -1. Again, these two match. Goes to positive infinity. Put a parentheses on the end.